What is up, ladies and gentlemen? How are you? I hope you guys are great. I hope you guys are good. I hope you guys kicked some ass and took some names all week long. That way you can relax and kick some more ass and take some more names this weekend. Welcome to FBI Friday and Awareness Day here on G2K on Get to Know channel. I am throwing a little bit of a twist in there today. Um, However, these cases are not going to be prominently FBI cases, but cases nonetheless, and awareness at the same time. So let me ask you all a question. You can leave your comments down and leave your comments down in the comment section on this question. How many of y'all have ever ran a background check on a teacher? How many of y'all have ran a background check on a teacher that your child has as a teacher? It's gonna sound fucked up, but I'm telling I haven't. Probably should have. It seems like more and more this last week or two, there have been there has been a major influx in the amount of cases being charged against teachers. Not male teachers, as you would mostly think, female teachers.
Stop it.
One of the most recent ones here that's caught a lot of attention is a female teacher who got arrested. She was set to be married in July. She's a young teacher, 24 years old, who got arrested for making out with her fifth grade student. We live in a society where you cannot DTA. What does DTA stand for? You cannot and don't trust anybody along with your kids. Yes, do a background check on the teachers that your kids have as their teachers. Do a background check on the principal, but remember, just because it's not on their record, don't lower your guards down that quick. Is it still plugged?
Mm-hmm. I know what's going on with it, dude.
So, yes.
Stop it.
Let me see here. If you have kids and you care about your children, be hyper vigilant about who they're hanging out with and what's going on in their lives and all that shit. We have to. If we don't want these shit to happen to our kids, we have to do this stuff. It sucks. I know that we don't want to do this stuff, but yet we have to. If we want to keep our kids safe. I know there's parents out there that don't give two shits and a squirt of piss about their kids. I know that. I've got some in my personal family. Everybody knows that. But there's no one out there in the world that's going to protect your children other than you. So, with that being said, I thought I'd do a little bit of FBI/teacher awareness cases today. No, I'm not picking on the females in this community. It's not what I'm doing. It just seems like to me that there's a major influx in these cases regarding female teachers. And you know what? More often than not, these teachers are pretty hot. I'm not going to lie. These teachers are really good looking. They're young. They're good looking. Most of them are married or planning on getting married. Quite a few of them have kids of their own. And yet they're having improper, inappropriate relationships with their students. So that's what we're going to cover today. That's what we're going to cover today.
I'm just getting a whole new one.
The rise of sexual abuse by teachers. Rise of sexual abuse by teachers.
Stop.
No, I don't need no live chat from you, Becca. Get the hell out of here. No, I don't have a fucking question for you. Damn. Oh, this is the lawyer's office. What the hell? From school children to mature university scholars, all students place their trust in teachers. Correct? Correct. Educators subsequently hold on a position of power. See, there's that word. There's those words again. Positions of power. Hey, the students, irrespective of the student's age. Sadly, both statistical data and anecdotal admissions show that an increasing number of teachers have abused that power in recent years. Aside from the case handled by Eric Henniger and Brad Robertson, the number of high-profile cases have made state and national media in recent times. Teachers, tutors, and coaches have all been guilty. Furthermore, in 2014, a 2014 study showed that 361 cases of school employee sexual misconduct were registered, according to Shop Educators. According to Stop Educators, Sexual Abuse, Misconduct, and Exploitation, or Sesame. Just under 500 arrests were made in 2015. While figures in 2020 and 2021 are likely to fall compared to recent years, this is largely due to the pandemic. The grim reality is that nearly 7% of students in grades 8 through 11 are subjected to sexual misconduct, while in 2010, government accountability study found that offenders can make oh, I thought I had one. I lost my place, damn it. Found that offenders can take up to 73 victims. What?
Get away.
Sexual abuse and misconduct don't stop at K-12 levels either. Sexual misconduct is also a problem between educators and college students, which has resulted in many universities and institutions across the nation banning teacher-student relationships as a moral consideration. Even when students are of consenting age, it is considered an abuse of power and unethical behavior, especially in situations where teachers knew the student before they reached legal age. Interesting, huh? Oh, you need stem.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me get back here real quick. Get out of here. What's up, Dippy? Did you go tell all your crew that I was alive? What's up, Dippy Doo? Dippy Doo, Dippy Doo. Divide. Copy. X. And here. Up here. Here. No, not yet. I had a hard time finding y'all. What do you mean? Yeah, I don't know what the fuck's going on with that shit either. Para! So. Give a shit about your eating habits. I don't want to get struck for showing this, so, and I will too because it's Law Crime Network. Let's get that off there altogether. How about that? April 25th, 2024. Inside the threatening world of female teacher sex predators, their tactics, victims, and motivations. See? Fairly decent looking woman. Mm-hmm. An increasing number of female teachers across the United States are being arrested, tried, and convicted for sex predators. Often taking advantage of minors they meet at the schools they work in. Their tactics and motivations differ from case to case, but there is one commonality. These women often present themselves as respectful and thoughtful, but are suffering from deeply rooted personality disorders. Bullshit. It's not a fucking personality disorder, dude. Female teachers are being convicted of as sex predators across the USA. Across the US. The parents and families of young children and teens likely look for clear signs pointing to possible sex predators, including location. But female teachers who abuse minors are being arrested across the United States. An investigation conducted by the Daily Mail and released in April 2024 found that at least 25 women have been arrested on sex crime charges within the last year alone. Their victims ranging in age, proximity, and severity. Female teacher sex predators are often white women in their 30s. These cases vary. The most common physical profile of a female teacher sex predator is a white woman in her 30s. Stacy Kaiser, a licensed psychotherapist and expert in criminal psychology, analyzed the results of the publication and presented a number of cases where the typical predator was involved. Okay, Dippy, not a problem. Jessica Sawicki was a 37-year-old married teacher from New Jersey when she was arrested in March 2024. She was found half naked in a teenager's car, which was parked in a private wildlife center. Sawicki told police that she had the teacher in question. Oh. Sawicki told police that she had the teenager in question had unprotected sex at least. Good pair of pliers. At least 5 times. At least had sex at least 5 times and was charged with 5 counts of second-degree sexual assault and 5 counts of second-degree endangering the welfare of a child, which was eventually released while awaiting trial. She was eventually released while awaiting trial so she could care for her children. The case is still ongoing as of publication of this notice, which I don't think she should have gotten the right to get out of there. Elisa McCammon, a 38-year-old teacher, 38-year-old teaching the 4th grade in Tennessee, was arrested in September 2023, eventually pleading not guilty to 23 sex charges. She was initially accused of raping a 12-year-old boy, but her charges increased as police discovered more than 20 additional victims. McCammon's trial is ongoing as a publication, and voicemails presented in court suggest that she could be pregnant with the minor victim's child. Oh my. Yeah. Our goal in any of these investigations is to identify any potential victims and provide medical assistance, counseling, and support for their families throughout the investigation. Covington Police Chief Donna Turner said in a March 2024 statement amid McCammon's trial, "Without this vital intervention, the ripple effect of trauma can last for years with the victims and the family unit." Not can, it does. High school math teacher Tracy Vanderhurst Hurlist was also arrested in 2023, with police claiming at the time that she had raped a 16-year-old student. She was named Teacher of the Year at her school in 2017. What a Teacher of the Year.
Crazy, man.
It's beyond crazy. It's disgusting. So cool to see all you here. I appreciate it. Female teachers, sex predators, often think they haven't committed a crime. How the fuck could you not? In her analysis of individual cases and larger predatory patterns, Kasier concluded that a number of female teachers who are sex predators often think they haven't committed any kind of crime. An unnamed incarcerated woman Kasier worked with admitted that she was proud of herself for being sensitive and caring to the minor boys she abused, claiming that she made them feel safe. Yeah, right, dude. Kasier pushed back on her assertion, but the woman maintained that it never felt like a crime to her. That's crazy weird to me, anyway.
Hmm. So it's just normal.
Yeah, it's just normal. It's just normal.
Which kind of loud, man.
I think it's like a requirement for teachers these days.
That's what it seems like. As many as there are, man.
Yeah.
It's gotten unreal.
Female teacher sex predator tactics. The tactics of female teacher sex predators vary, but according to Kaiser, many of them use social media as a means to connect with their victims outside a classroom setting. We think about it. We let our kids walk right into these, right into the arms of these predators. We allow it. It's fucked up. For example, Missouri math teacher Haley Nichelle Clifton Carmack used social media to post provocative photos of herself, allowing minors to interact with her content. She was arrested in January 2024 for allegedly having sex with a student. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that last name on this one. So there you go. Mary Kay Letoruro case gives insight on predators' emotional involvement with victims. One of the most famous cases of a female teacher abusing a student is Mary Kay Letourneau and her involvement with student Vili Fualato, who was just 12 years old when they started a sexual relationship. Letourneau, who was a married mom of 4 at the time, was convicted of rape and spent 3 months in prison. Ooh, I bet she learned her lesson there. And spent 3 months in prison. Once out of prison, think about what I just said right there. Was convicted of rape and spent 3 months in prison. Was convicted of rape and spent 3 months in prison. How does that even make sense? How the fuck does that even make sense? What would have happened if the tables were turned and it would have been a male teacher? Do you think we'd have only done 3 months in prison? No, the motherfucker would still be in prison.
Maybe.
Yeah, either he would be in prison for a really long time or he would already be out.
Yeah. Hard to say.
Yeah, it's hard to say anymore. That is correct.
We just know it's more common in women.
Yeah.
This is happening.
Yep. All right. How'd your phone call go, Dippy? Hope everything's okay. Yes, yes, yes. What's up, Dippy?
What's up? Sorry.
Oh, you don't need to apologize. I know how life goes.
So what's up? I missed too much. I don't even know what you're talking about right now.
So,
Oh, you were talking. I talked about this case last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, wow. It's a small
get out my
world
head.
after all. You know.
Well,
Yeah.
I
Go ahead.
think we're on a different level with the case. Like I was using it as a reference and trying to understand how the outcome came. You know what I mean? Like I just trying to figure out like because to me it didn't seem like she groomed this kid. It seemed more like the advances came from the kid, even though regardless it's not right because she was an adult. But it was like no matter what they did, even if they put her in prison for 7.5 years, her and him still ended up having more kids together.
Yeah. I mean, there's some.
So it's kind of
Yeah. But
how do you define that as a relationship? I guess
I don't know.
because it's not like she threatened him in any way.
But she's a teacher. He's a student,
And I'm not excusing that by no means. I
and I
was
know you're
not.
not. And I know you're not. I know you're not.
I'm just trying to figure out, regardless, because even after he turned 18 and 21, he still was with her. And he chose to be with her at that time.
Yeah.
Because they got married in 2005
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
and then got divorced in 2016, I think it was. And she passed away, I think like a year or two later.
Oh, really?
No, she passed away in 2020
Wow.
Wow.
from cancer. So, I mean, I've really kept up with that case. That was one case that kind of just always baffled me.
So why'd she only get 7 months in prison
7.5 years in prison.
or 3 months in prison?
I don't know. I think that was the first time. And then when she got caught with them again, everything got reinstated. So she ended up having to do the 7.5 years.
Okay, so
That's what
yeah,
I'm saying. Like, how do you define that? Like, they have been they've been together basically since he was 12 years old.
that's like the ultimate case of grooming in my eyes. You know what I mean?
But how is it grooming when it was more or less?
Because she's the adult. Let me ask you this, Dippy. Let me ask you this.
She
Dippy.
never said, "Don't tell nobody," or this is going to happen to you, or this. She didn't groom them in a way that he was terrified of her.
You don't have to tell you don't have to be that you don't have to do that you don't have to be scared of the person that's going to be doing that shit to you to be groomed, Dippy.
I mean, for them to last 14 to 16 years.
I get it. I get that. I really do. But it comes down to this underlying factor. Here's where you draw the line.
She's the adult.
She's the fucking adult. If let me ask you this: if a 12-year-old came up to you and said, "Hey, baby, I want to fuck," what are you gonna do, Dippy?
Fuck no.
No,
I don't see nothing of a child.
she
Even.
embraced it.
And then I understand that. That's why I said there's no excuse for that. She is the pedophile. She is the adult. She had the control. But at the same time, if you read up on it and you literally watch the movie like I did 100,000 times, and you just keep reading like all the stories that goes along with them from their mouths, the kid and her mouth, it was like, I don't know, like she never threatened the kid. She never made the kid scared of her. Like it was mainly like if she would say, "Stop, we can't do this no more," he would come and make the advances towards her, which I don't know. I guess if you're in love with somebody, then
if you're in love with somebody, yeah, and
and that's what it seemed like. It was like they really fell in love with each other.
And if you're a horny teenager,
Check it out. The teenagers that they don't know what love is, though.
you know what I mean?
But I don't know, because think about it. Grant you, horny teenager, but don't you think then he would try to advance towards other females as well?
Why? He knows he can get a piece of ass from her. See, that's the thing that a lot of women.
in his buddy's eyes, he
Yeah,
was cool.
see, that's the thing. Here's the thing that a lot of women don't
Yeah, but
understand
you
about
guys gotta
men.
also think he was a dad before he was 13 years old.
Yeah, and that's fucked up.
So like he really didn't have hangout friend type time. You know what I mean?
Because all of
Because
his,
even though his mom was responsible for the baby as well as him, while she got prosecuted and shit, he was the one that was still mainly there taking care of that little girl.
okay, well, that's good. That's good. But it's because he didn't have all these didn't have all this hangout time with friends and shit because he was spending his time getting laid by his teacher.
I don't know. Like I said last night, this case really baffles me. I'll never understand it. Because I don't feel like she groomed him. I feel like it was just a natural attraction. Maybe they were together in a past life or something, and then they met again in this life.
And we'll never know that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And so
I
we
mean,
can't like for me, I can't even take that into consideration because like we that's who knows. Some of us may not believe in reincarnation in past lives. You know what I mean? So like we can't. You see what I mean? Like I can't. For me myself anyway, I can't. I can't. Like she's the
know.
adult. She's the adult.
And I agree with you there. Like I don't disagree with that. She's
Right.
the adult. She's the pedo because of her age.
If she really loved this kid, okay, if she really loved this kid and it was meant to be, she should have waited.
And I agree with you there too. Like, and I think that, that 7.5 years should have made a difference with her not being there, not being, she wasn't even supposed to talk to him, but when she would call to check on her daughter, talking to the grandmother,
So there you go. That's classic right there.
the grandmother would, the boy's mom would allow them to talk.
Well, that's partial to blame on the mother then. Like if they weren't supposed to talk, which I know they weren't supposed to talk,
They
and
weren't
they were
supposed to have
allowed
any
to talk,
communication.
that's all part of grooming. She was still grooming that kid when he was in prison.
I don't know. From my understanding, like she didn't want to talk to him at all because she didn't want to get in trouble because they record all that shit.
Right.
But it was like he would throw a fucking fit because he wanted to speak to her. And just profess how much he loves her and shit like that. Like, so I can get it where she's like, I've never had this type of love before, not even with my husband. Like it was, because she was married when this all happened.
And
They ended up
most
getting
of these
divorced in
teachers are.
the year after
Most of these
she
teachers are.
got caught. Huh?
Most of these teachers are married when this shit
And
happens.
you got to think that this kid that she had, that she was diddling, was her son's friend. She taught this kid in school. She was one of his teachers.
Yeah, I get it. And see, that's like all part. I still come back to my original, basically my original statement, like
The grooming.
of grooming.
Okay, so my conception of grooming is not the same as everybody else's.
Right, and and that's because there is no set rules to what grooming is and what grooming isn't. There's so many different ways to groom somebody and all that shit. Like that's what people don't understand. That's what people don't understand right there, Dippy. Is there's so many different ways that a person can groom somebody. Like you don't have to or divorce or I mean you just got like it comes from a long thought out drawn out process, a long you know what I mean. Manipulation runs deep, and it's something that just doesn't just automatically happen. It takes time. Like in order for her to have enough guts to have
But
enough, go ahead.
She had like 3 kids with him.
Well, yeah, when you bang, you're gonna end up having kids if you don't use protection. You know what I
He
mean?
had 3 kids with him and 2 with her first husband. But see, and that's what, like, she was with this kid longer than she was with her first husband.
Right.
Because her and her husband got married in 88 or 89 and they divorced in 99. That's only 10 years. She was with this kid from 98 till 2017, I think it was.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, I don't think it was grooming.
Well, I mean, it just
Because normally, I would think that by a certain age, that the kids, especially a boy, their hormones are going to go 10 times more wild by like 17, 18. They're going to
yeah,
want to stick and
but
poke anything they can.
right, but by the time he hit 17 and 18,
Name is Frosty.
but by the time that kid hit 17, 18 years old, he was already well groomed. The grooming process was already over
That's what I'm
long
saying.
before that.
I don't feel like it was really groomed because it was more consensual. Even if he was underage and he doesn't really have that right to consent to it, I still feel like it was more consensual.
Well, okay, that's the whole thing. What's up, Miss Frosty? It was consensual, but just because it's consensual doesn't nullify the fact that she was a teacher in a position of
She knew
power.
better.
She knew better. She abused her power by not pushing him off and saying, "No, we can't do this. I'm a teacher. You're 12 years old." She embraced it.
I'm married.
She embraced it. She went along with it. She accepted it.
While still being married. Like, what the hell?
Yeah,
You know what I
but
mean?
from like my understanding of the whole thing between like I said, watching the movie on it, and then reading all the news shit and shit that the videos that they have done, like the interviews that they have done and what they have said about each other. I don't know. Like I
Well,
don't.
yeah, I mean, they were in love after she got and all that shit because they were spending time with each other. I get that, but you have to go back to
I
the
agree, Miss
original.
Frosty. Okay, so I'm not saying that she's not in the wrong.
Right.
She was the teacher. She was the adult. She was the mother figure because his mother worked like 3 jobs. So when he would spend the night over at her house, that would make her the mother figure to him.
Well, that's why you don't let students sleep over teachers' houses.
Well, but it was because he was friends with he was friends with her son.
And
That was
that's
the
all.
school
And
members.
that's all part of the grooming process. Like
Mm-hmm.
her friend,
Yeah,
her
but
son.
that they were he was spending the night before anything ever happened between them. What it was one night her and her husband got into like a really big spat or whatever, and this kid supposedly woke up out of a sleep or was just laying there listening, and then he got up and started, "You shouldn't be treated like that. You should be treated like a queen," and the things guys say to get in your pants. So
Yeah,
it was like,
but he was 12 years old.
and I agree. I agree. No matter, under 18, regardless,
Right.
there is, your brain should be automatically set like, God dang, no, you're too fucking young. Like, even if you are mature for your age, you are too young. Like, there is nothing on you that attracts me. Like, that's how I feel.
Yeah. That's how you know what I mean? That's how.
But I just don't feel like, I mean, I'm not saying, like I said, she's guilty in every aspect. I just don't feel like there was a grooming part to it, because of how long they ended up being together for and getting married and having children and living in the storybook house with the white picket fence and a dog and all these kids. Like,
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but you have to step out of that. You have to step out of that zone that you're thinking in. Like the underlying factor is he was 12, regardless of whether how long he was friends with her son or not.
Yeah, and after something did happen, you should have never let him sleep over again.
After she had her fight with her
She should've
husband.
never had the conversation with him about
Yeah.
her.
Yeah,
She
exactly.
had a fight with her husband.
Yeah.
Oh, I
So-
agree with that. She should, that should have been a conversation just for adults. But you got to also remember, look at the time it was too. It's a lot different from back then than it is to now. I mean, even though back then, no matter what, it wasn't right. I'm not saying that it was right. That I just want to make that clear. I am not by no way, shape, or form saying it was right what happened.
When
Right.
it came out, it was like people were blown away by it because it never happened back then.
Like or it did, and we just didn't know about it.
Yeah, exactly.
This was like the first teacher-child case that was publicized like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Yeah.
So it's like it's kind of hi, wifey. I'm sorry. Good morning, honey.
Hi, good morning.
But I don't know. Like this case just baffles me. Like, at what point do we step back and be like, well, fuck, they were together for like 16, 17 years.
Yeah.
And, they did have 3 kids after she finally did her prison. They were together, they got together after her prison sentence or after she got off parole, whatever it was. When she was free and clear and he was of age, they finally got together like they wanted to. So, I mean, after 18, he was with her well after 18.
And that's fine. That's fine and dandy. That's perfectly legal and understandable. But
Maybe it just makes it one of those cases that's fucking like, you know what I mean?
completely unique in its
Exactly. Like that's where I get baffled at. I'm like, okay, so most kids that get into a relationship with an adult, it don't last 17 years. It lasts for a few months or, depending on if the kid runs away or not. But if the kid don't run away and he's still living at home and still, I don't know.
The mom was supporting that shit.
Sorry, I had
them talking to each other and stuff.
Yeah, I agree with you, Frosty. I can't see the connection between an adult or a 12-year-old either. Like, I don't even see the connection of being like over 25 and seeing a connection with an 18 to 21-year-old. I just don't see it. Like, or maybe 30 to 21. Like, I just don't understand. I can't really say much because I'm older than my husband, but we got together later on. We've been together 16 years. Actually, next month will be 16 years we've been together. So it's just kind of confusing to me. Because I think about it, I'm like, damn, like they were together like 16, 17 years. Me and my husband have been together 16, 17 years. Does that sound like I did something wrong? But then at the end, I think
how old was your husband? How old was your husband when you showed interest in him?
He was like 23, 22, 23.
Okay, so he was a sound mind. Okay, yeah, you're good. What? My dad is 11
But
years.
he had a thing for me since he was 16. There's a difference. Like I overlooked him. Like I wasn't even paying no mind to him. And then when I seen him,
why did you overlook him? Why did you overlook him? Because he was 16?
He was a kid.
There you go. There you go. There's the difference.
Because I'm like 6.5 years, maybe 7 years older than him.
My
so
dad's
he was a kid to me.
12 years older than my mom.
Hell, he's still a kid to me. Everybody asks me which one of my kids is. Obviously, they don't realize I have one kid, because I collect kids, it seems like. They're always at, like, which one of your kids is the worst? I'm like, my mother-in-law's.
Right.
It's like, he's the worst.
Yeah. My wife will tell you I'm the oldest kid she's got.
Yeah, I agree. The maturity level is what fucks it up too. Because you know what though? This kid did not seem like he had the mind of a 12-year-old. For the things that he was saying and pursuing wise. Like I've never seen a 12-year-old act like that.
Men are slick. Boys are slick.
Like,
They know
I've
what.
never,
They
not
know,
even my little nephews, like, I've never seen 12-year-olds advance towards a woman. Like, they're still outside riding their bikes and playing in the creeks and,
so see,
you know,
it brings
building forts.
it brings me
Well,
to
they were
this.
back then, anyway.
I can't help but think this. If that 12-year-old was that confident about himself, where did he get that from?
His mom working so much and not having a dad around. He had to come. He had become the dad and the big brother all at the same time for
But
like
where did
3 other kids.
he get that? Where did he get that thought mentality from to have that confidence in himself that yeah, I can go get
Well,
me
like I
one.
said, he had to grow up way too fast.
Exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, where did he get it from? So it's got to come from somewhere. Was he abused himself?
I don't think so. I know. I don't. I don't remember reading anything to do with that.
No,
I
I
know
think
that he had trauma because of his dad and his mom split up, breakup, divorce, whatever. And like I said, then he had to become like the dad and the big brother all in one day and had to take care of like 3 or 4 little siblings while mom worked like her ass off. So,
What's up, Leanie? Oh, she was here and now she's gone.
I don't know. It's never right with a 12-year-old. Never. Like, never right. Never right with any kid under 18.
Exactly. Even if the age of consent in your state
It's
is not
16.
18, is 16 and 15 and 14, like even it's still not right. It's still not right.
Morally, it's not right.
We have become a society that has established the fact that this is not okay, regardless of what your age is.
But you know what? In the Mexican culture, their kids are ready for that. They start getting them ready at 12 years old for that type of life.
They start grooming their own kids to be ready for this kind of shit to happen. You're right, they do.
That's why at 15 they pronounce them as girls as women.
Right. Well, it's because it's because their culture. They groom them that way. They're groomed that way.
Yep.
We are groomed to accept that this is how my future is going to be. This is that's what they're doing. They still don't make it right. Just because it's okay in another culture, it's not right here.
I know, but that they're bringing their cultures over here to make, and then they expect it to be right. Like there was a 21-year-old man that impregnated a 12-year-old girl, and he was so excited about his baby being born. Yeah. The mom was okay with it. He didn't see nothing wrong with it until that little girl went to have that baby in the hospital. None of them seen anything wrong with it. And him and grandma got arrested.
Well, yeah, good. Well, they probably deserved it. You know what I mean? Like that's why these types of conversations, they're hard to have with some people. You know what I mean? I'm glad you're an open-minded person. You know what I mean? Because if you weren't, we wouldn't be able to have this conversation because it just wouldn't be allowed. You know what I mean?
Like I said, I look at it in a different light than a lot of people. Like, I don't know exactly how I define this case right here or the case I just spoke about. But no matter what I say, I know it's morally, it's ethical wrong. It's just pure downright ridiculous that an adult could see something in a child. And it even gets even worse when they're
especially when they're married
under 10 years old.
That's weird.
Yeah, like
when you're married, that's even more weird. You know, they're already married and shit, and they're attracted to this young kid.
I was just watching a case where,
and she's got a son the same age. Like it's weird. It's
weird. Or no, I think her son. I think he was a little bit older than her son. Oh. But I just was watching a case the other night about this couple that got married and they were like really toxic and they had a baby and they gave her up for adoption because the father didn't want nothing to do with her, and so he made her give her up for adoption. Well, 18 years later, this child found her adopted parents. And at 18, she went to go live with them for a little bit, see how they were. Well, it ended up where the dad and his biological daughter ended up falling in love and having a kid together, kicking the mom and the other two children out. Or no, not the other two children, but kicking the mom out, and had the other two children call the oldest sister mom instead of her name.
Wow.
That's disgusting. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
beyond
gross.
disgusting.
Even though she was 18, that's just disgusting because it's your family, your biological daughter.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then he ended up killing the biological daughter, their baby, and the biological daughter's adopted dad.
Yeah, it's just crazy. It's fucked up, is what it is.
I know that case. I think I watched that case. In that case.
I watched some crazy shit. Just like, how the fudge does this shit happen?
So I just looked this up. Hopefully, it's showing on the screen now. Nope, it's not.
I was gonna say no, it's still the Mary Kay Letourneau. I still think that's freaky that you were doing this case when I did it last night. You watched my
Right.
shit. You watched my shit on replay. Let me see. Let me get some ideas from Dippy's live last night.
Fuck, you know it. You know it. Me going around stealing everybody else's content.
Hey, you're more than welcome to steal mine. I just don't know if it's that interesting to talk about.
So while we were just talking, I went ahead and looked this up. So get the hell out of here. Nope, that's not the one I wanted either. It's this one. So let me get rid of it.
Hello.
Damn it.
Oh, damn. I thought we were saying hello to somebody.
Right. So I just typed this in my search browser, and I just typed in sex abuse statistics involving teachers and students 2024. So how
I
many
think
female
this year outranked a lot of years.
What's that?
I said I think this year outranked a lot of years.
Yeah.
Yes.
And 2021, 2020,
It's not even
2021.
over yet.
Yeah. 2020 and 2021 years, of course, the numbers were down because why? Students weren't in class because of the pandemic. So
Oh, brat.
So here's this. This is, let me see. Yep. Okay, it's showing now. Okay.
Shit.
So, how many female teachers sexually abuse students? However, recent self-report research suggests that up to 12% of cases of sexual abuse are perpetrated by a woman. A comparison between male and female teachers who sexually abuse students. Fox News Digital found earlier this year that nearly 350 public educators were arrested for child sex-related crimes in the U.S. last year alone. On average, it comes out to being almost one teacher a day in this country gets arrested, charged, convicted, and sent to prison for this crime. One a day. Now, that might not seem like a lot, but that's...
Yesterday, I read four different teachers that have been convicted
here recently.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's
wow.
it's ridiculous. According to a report by American Association, oh my fucking land, dude. I don't know, but they're about ready to make me smash the goddamn thing, dude. According to a report by American Association of University Women, around 1 in 10 students in grades 8 through 11 said they had been the victim of one or more such abuses from a teacher or other school employee. Now, why is it 8 through 12? Is 8 through 11th grade? Well, because they don't keep statistics on things like how many students were sexually abused by a teacher under the age of 12. 8th grade, you're 13 years old. 8th grade, you're 12 and 13 years old. That's when they start keeping this. When they start keeping statistics, they don't keep records of that shit on children under the age of 12. They don't. for privacy reasons. And how fucking stupid is that? I'm just saying. How many students are sexually abused by teachers? Exactly. How many teachers have an affair with students? It's likely the case in this is likely the case in schools as well. For instance, there have been anonymous self-reported surveys that have as many as 10% of students admitting to having sexual interactions with educators, and 13% of educators reporting having a sexual interaction with a student. I'm one of those that could have self-reported that shit for this statistic. You know what I mean? This is an increasing, ongoing problem, and it makes me sick to my stomach. It makes me legitimately sick to my stomach. Let me ask you this, Dippy. Have you ever thought about doing a background check on one of your teachers in the past?
I think I did do a background check on one of my daughter's teachers.
Wow, really?
Yeah, because I didn't like the way he was talking to me, not her. But he talked to me like he was a narcissist. So, like, my cousin did a background check, not me. She said he didn't come up with anything like other than like maybe some traffic shit on his shit.
And again,
I don't want to see if there was any DV or anything. I was like, look, you got an abuser in the fucking school teaching my kid.
Yeah, and a lot, like my wife just said, and I was just trying to get to that too. Like a lot.
It's not really on the record that they encourage that, so they wouldn't become a teacher. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like you can just because you do a background check on a teacher doesn't mean that there's not a pedophile. Because why? Maybe they just haven't been caught yet.
Yep.
And that's the reality of it. And that's the reality of it. So there is that.
Yep. There's that.
It's just fucking absolutely ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous. I can't grasp the concept of somebody pursuing a child. I can't.
Let alone their own student.
Let alone their own student.
Yeah.
One of the ones they're supposed to protect.
Yeah. Somebody who we as parents tell our children, you can talk to this person. You respect your teacher. You respect your teacher. You can trust this person. That's why we send you to school, because you can trust. What the fuck? You know what I mean?
Oh.
It's fucked up. So, okay. So I'm gonna get rid of this screen. I'm not gonna pull up another screen. I'm just gonna read off a couple cases, and then I'm gonna get my ass to work in about 15 minutes.
Yeah. That's what you say.
Yep. So, Gallup man sentenced for sexual abuse of minors, May 8th, 2024. A Gallup man was sentenced to 10 years in prison, followed by 10 years of supervised release for sexually abusing 2 minors. 10 years for 2 minors, 5 years apiece? That's not good. For immediate release, U.S. Attorney's Office to the District of New Mexico. Albuquerque, a Gallup man was sentenced to 10 years in prison, followed by 10 years of supervised release for sexually abusing 2 minors. There is no parole in the federal system. According to court documents between August 2012 and August 2013, Latham Eskeets, 30, an enrolled member of the Navajo Nation, engaged in sexual acts with Jane Doe, who was older than 12 but younger than 16 at the time, and Jane Doe 2, who was younger than 12 at the time, living at the mother's residence near Church Rock, New Mexico. The Skeets will be required to register as a sex offender upon his release from prison. U.S. Attorney Alexander M.M. Ubales and Raul Bujenda, special agent in charge of the Federal Bureau of Investigations, made the announcement on the 8th. The Gallup Resident Agency of the FBI Albuquerque field office investigated the case. Oh, like that one pisses me off because 2 victims sexually abused, 10 years is pathetic. And that's why that's one of the main reasons why I do these cases, why I talk about these cases, is because I want people to see how these motherfuckers are getting sentenced and how much injustice there are for the victims. 10 years for being sexually, 5 years per charge per person is not okay. They dropped the ball on this case. What do you think, Dippy?
Uh, I don't. Like, I just can't with these people no more.
Kansas City man indicted for producing child pornography, May 8th, 2024. Oh my God. Oh my God. Mm. For immediate release, U.S. Attorney's Office, Western District of Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri. A Kansas City, Missouri man has been indicted by a federal grand jury for producing child pornography that depicted the sexual assault of a 3-year-old victim. Michael Aiden, 26, was charged with a 14-count indictment returned by a federal grand jury in Kansas City, Missouri on Tuesday, May 7th. The indictment replaces the criminal complaint that was filed against Aiden on April 18th, 2024. It contains additional charges and contains additional charges. Aiden remains in federal detention without bond. The federal indictment charges Aiden with 10 counts of producing child pornography involving the child victim between November 14th, 2023 and February 6th, 2024. Aiden is also charged with 1 count of attempting to produce child pornography, 2 counts of distributing child pornography, and 1 count of possessing child pornography. According to an affidavit filed in support of the original criminal complaint, the investigation began when law enforcement received multiple reports of Aiden allegedly uploading child pornography to Snapchat, Kik, Discord, and Instagram. On April 11th, 2024, law enforcement officers executed a search warrant at Aiden's residence. Officers found a cell phone in an unlocked safe in the living room, which allegedly contained hundreds of videos of child pornography, including videos of the sexual assault of the child victim. Officers also found 20 more cell phones in Aiden's residence. Forensic analysis of Aiden's electronic devices is still ongoing, but initial reviews indicate Aiden was in possession of thousands of files depicting child pornography. The charges contained in this indictment are simply accusations, blah, blah, blah. That is not an accusation. I don't care what anybody says. That's not an accusation. That's guilty. That's not an accusation. You got busted with thousands of images on 20 different fucking phones. You're guilty. Hang the motherfucker till he's dead. That's what I say. How can you even argue against that? You got busted. These are in your possession. You own them. They all have thousands of images of children being raped and sexually abused. That's guilty. There's no presumption of innocence there. There's no presumption of innocence needed. None.
Curly. I agree. None needed.
Jury convicts El Dorado Springs man of child pornography. For immediate release, U.S. Attorney's Office, Western District of Missouri, Tuesday, May 7th, 2024. Springfield, Missouri. An El Dorado Springs, Missouri man who was caught with thousands of images and videos of child pornography was convicted at trial on the 8th or on the 7th. John Fitzgerald Mulligans, 51, was found guilty of 2 counts of receiving and distributing child pornography. Law enforcement received multiple reports from MeWe Dropbox and Snapchat of Mulligans uploading images and videos of child pornography to their servers. Investigators contacted Mulligans at his residence on March 2nd, 2021. Officers seized Mulligan's cell phone, which contained 678 images and 96 videos of child pornography, including rape and bondage of minors. Mulligan's was indicted on 1 count of receiving and distributing child pornography from February 2nd, 2020 to March 2nd, 2021, based on the images and videos. On August 3rd, 2022, law enforcement officers executed a search warrant at Mulligan's residence, which also served as the office for his business, Steward Wecker. In relation to, will you please mute your? I'm just kidding. In relation to an unrelated state criminal investigation, officers seized 14 cell phones, multiple computers, laptop computers, and computer tablets, as well as electronic storage devices. Investigators conducted a federal examination of those devices and determined that 11 of those electronic devices contained child pornography. On just one of Mulligan's tablets, oh my God, investigators found 5,197 images and 211 videos. The files included visual depictions of sexual conduct with animals, binding and or forced sexual contact with persons, and physical assault and deceased persons. In total, investigators found 14,249 images and only 2,054 videos of child pornography among Mulligan's devices. Mulligan was charged in a superseding indictment with an additional count of receiving and distributing child pornography from March 3rd, 2021 to August 3rd, 2022, based on these images and videos. Following the presentation of evidence, the jury in the U.S. District Court of Springfield, Missouri, deliberated for 27 minutes before returning guilty verdicts to U.S. District Judge M. Douglas Harple, ending a trial that began Monday, May 6th. Under federal statutes, Mulligan's is subjected to a mandatory minimum sentence of 5 years in federal prison without parole and up to a sentence of 40 years in federal prison without parole. The maximum statutory sentence is prescribed by Congress and is provided here for informational purposes, as the sentencing of the defendant will be determined by the court based on advisory sentencing guidelines and other statutory factors. The sentencing hearing will be scheduled after the completion of the pre-sentence investigation by the United States Probation Office. What do you think, Dippy? Let me get your opinion on this, and then I'm going to get out of here.
Yeah.
What is your opinion of what should have happened to this dude? They found, let me say it one more time, they found 14,249 images and 2,054 videos of child pornography involving deceased people, children, animals, binding, bondage, and all that shit. What should have happened to him?
I think they should have never even brought him to court. They should have took him outside and just shot him.
Right in his fucking face? Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. And see, that's why people are like, well, G2K, what do you mean only a year? Well, like, this is a perfect example. I think a person that gets busted with child pornography should get 1 year fixed mandatory fucking sentence, 1 year for every single picture and video that they get caught with. Why? Because these motherfuckers don't get caught with just 1 or 2 images. They don't. They get caught with hundreds, if not thousands upon thousands of them, i.e. this case right here. 14,249 cases. Images. That's 16,303 images and videos. That's a 16,000 year prison sentence. That's what he should have got sentenced for. Not 2 cases for 5 years apiece. 2 charges for 5 years apiece. That's bullshit. So anybody who watches this, if you're in Kansas City, Missouri, reach out to the judge in this case. The perpetrator's name is Michael Aden, ADDEN 26, 14 counts. He was charged with 14 and only got convicted of 2. Reach out to the prosecuting attorney, reach out to the judge, write him a letter and say, hey, hold this motherfucker accountable and give him the maximum penalty for this crime. If you are wondering how you can help this kind of situation and help change shit, that's one step that you guys can do to help out right there. I write letters all the time. I need to write more and send them to judges and prosecuting attorneys. When I see a judge give a weak ass sentence to somebody, I write them a letter and let them know what I think. Why not? We can. We should. We'll continue doing that.
It's sure better than not saying anything at all or doing anything at all, you know?
Absolutely. Even though it might not help, you never know. It could be that one influential push on that judge or prosecuting attorney to say, "What the fuck are we doing here? Why are we allowing these people to continually basically get away with this shit?" No? That's my thought. What about you, Dippy? What's your final thought for today?
I don't know. People need to open their eyes because shit happens every day right in front of them and they just don't realize it.
Yep. The world is this cruel, sick, unforgiving, fucked up place that we have to send our children out into because that's what we have to do. We might as well give them every tool and every possibility and possible chance of going out into the world and surviving in a good manner.
And you need to question everybody and
Yeah.
talk to your children, man.
Question everybody and continually talk to your children. Like my wife and I talk to our kids. My son's almost 18 and I still talk to him about it if somebody's fucking sexually abusing him. And he'll be 18 in a month and a half. You know what I mean? And I still talk to him about the shit. So it's just a fucked up world we live in. So it really is. And it sucks that we have to live like this. So with that being said, this is GPK. I'm out of here for the day. I might be back on later, but I'm going to go to work. Dippy, any final words you'd like to say, sweetheart?
Y'all have a great day and keep your minds open. And thank you for letting me come up here.
You know you're always welcome over here, Dippy. Anytime, anytime.
I appreciate
See,
it. Huh?
said it was nice to talk to you.
You too, wifey.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. We out of here.
Great day.
Bye, everybody.
Absolutely. Have a good day. Remember, try to love one another right now because right now is the best time to do it. Work hard, stay focused, keep your kids
Talk to your
protected,
children.
talk to your children. Awareness starts at home, inside your own walls of your residence. It starts with you. Awareness starts with you. That's a good one. Awareness starts with you, the parent. Keep your kids safe. Talk to them about this problem because it happens all the time. I'm out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Have a blessed and beautiful day. This is G2K. I'm out of here. Do me one favor. Tell your friends about me because they're going to want to know, get to know. Have a good day, everybody. Later. Holy shit.
It was, Odela wants us to come get her at 11.